Howdy friends, Guthrie Trapp here coming to you on Monday. Gonna sneak one in here before it gets too late. Thanks so much for being a part of this channel and for all the positive support and feedback that I've been getting. The endless amount of comments is just really fantastic. I'm going to be responding to the ones that I got here a little bit later this evening. And man, just thanks so much for that. Today, I'm going to do a little video on just the right hand. We're just going to talk about the right hand. So if I don't slow everything down that I'm doing with my left hand, note for note or anything like that, don't worry about it. I'm not expecting you to be able to play that or anything like that. Just going to focus on some different techniques that I use with my right hand. Lots of stuff here we can cover. You know, the first thing I'd like to say is I see a lot of people using a really thick pick. I am not a fan of that. I like to use a medium Fender style or Diodario. This is a Diodario USA Classic 0.70 millimeter. And this pick is what I like about it. I use the round edge, as a lot of you know. And another thing about the pick that I like is not only do I use this rounded edge like this, but the rounded edge this way is not hard pressed where you're getting this real sharp edge that doesn't sound good. These picks are actually tumbled, and so it rounds these edges off to where you're getting a nice warm attack. You know, nice warm sound, not a lot of pick noise, nothing like that. So that's my style. As far as hybrid picking and using your fingernails, you can see these are probably getting to the point where they're about to tear off, because as soon as you get a little burr on there and you pluck that string, it's going to tear off. I don't use fake nails. I like the sound of a real fingernail, and I like to use just enough nail to where it's reinforcing the flesh of your finger. So you're getting this nice, you're getting a nice attack, but you're not. It's not all nail. It's not all finger flesh. It's a little bit of both. So that just kind of reinforces it. I like that. I'll use a fingernail file if these are starting to get a little messed up. I'll just file those down smooth and make sure I'm getting a nice smooth attack. We'll get into some more of that. I'm doing a hybrid between a lot of using my fingers and a lot of single note stuff. So if I'm doing the single note stuff, I'm usually doing down, up, which I learned from playing bluegrass. And that's been to my advantage, I feel, because it has helped with my speed and even the jazz playing and stuff like that. And anything up tempo where you're really needing to get some speed. So the thing about down, up picking, if you don't know that already, is if I just play one note for each hand movement, I'm going to get this. Or, so it's not very efficient. I mean, it has its place, you know, sometimes just to play downstrokes, but to get any kind of speed, you really have to have one note going down and one note coming back up. So that way, for this hand movement, I'm getting two notes. So that ends up being like this. So you can see it's really fast. It's really efficient. Sorry. No extra charge for mistakes. But so you can see that picking style. If I tried to play that fast, there's just no way I can down pick that fast. So really, really efficient to do the down up, you know. That is just a really, really fast and efficient style of playing. So some exercises to get the down, up thing going is just practice your scale. I like that dominant 7 kind of Mixolydian sound. To me, it's more musical right off the bat than playing the straight major scale. So I would start and just do this. Down, up, down, up. Any exercises like that. Take these scales and do the do-do-do-do-do's that we used to call them in bluegrass, where we would be like in C and going. Right, we'd get in, if we were in A, we would do that where we're going. So it's taking the major scale and just going back and forth. So I'm going back to the note I just hit. So up to tempo, that would be. Just that major scale. I said I wasn't going to do any left hand stuff, and then here I am showing you this. So anyway, this is all, you know, all good stuff, and it all kind of helps each other. But that's a really good exercise, doing that kind of thing. As far as my attack on my right hand, really, really soft. Just holding the pick like holding a baby bird. Not strong enough to where you're going to kill it, but not light enough to where it's going to fly away either. So same with the pick. Just a really comfortable, really loose attack. My right hand is just really loose and relaxed, and so is my left hand. Really, really loose. I'm just pressing down on the strings hard enough to get them to not buzz, right? So the harder you press with the left hand, the more out of tune it's going to go and just going to slow you down. So really try to relax both hands. And very importantly on the right hand, you know, this attack, it helps you play in tune better. It sounds better. You really got to pull the tone out of this guitar. I mean, the harder you hit it, the less you're going to get out of it, to be honest with you. So if I'm wanting to get on a note, you know. I'm playing light, but I'm also punctuating the notes and the chords that I want to jump out, of course. There's no hard and fast rules there. Everything comes down to the song and the musical situation you're in the moment. So don't forget that. When I'm playing chords, I want that chord to be one sound. I don't want it to be, I'm not arpeggiating through that. That needs to be like one solid thing. So I'm giving this a nice stroke. Just giving it a nice hit there. I'm not even sure how to describe that. The nice attack. And I'm wanting the notes to speak that I want to speak. So I'm looking at controlling that right hand and focusing on really just the notes that I want to speak in the chords. Another thing you can do with these chords that I'll do a lot of times is I'll hit the bass note with the pick, and then the other notes in the chord with my middle finger, ring finger, and even sometimes my little finger. Right? So that kind of thing there is, it's cool because it kind of makes it like a piano where you're plucking all the strings at once and getting that kind of attack like that. So the other thing that you can do that's pretty cool is I'll use my thumb a lot of times if I'm playing something like this. these are all, I'm kind of in jazz world today a little bit. I'm feeling like kind of like that. So everything's kind of giving you some kind of jazz examples here. Maybe we'll get into something else in a minute if I have time. But this kind of example is just these 3-note Freddie Green chords, and I'm just really wanting to focus on these 3 strings, my E string, D string, and G string. You're doing the tritone, the major third, flat 7, and the root A. So I'm kind of muting by controlling my right hand and focusing on these kind of 3 strings and swiping down like that. But then with this hand, I am muting the E string, B string, and the A string I don't want to hit. So I'm focusing on the G, D, and E. And that's going to sound like this. And with the thumb, you know about Wes Montgomery, the thumb is going to give you a real warm, buttery, kind of jazzy, soft sound, right? Right? So that's a really cool way to approach that. Octaves. Right? So these kind of chords. So that's pretty cool. The octaves are really nice. You don't want to hit your thumbnail. It gets a little harsh. You really want to use the meat of your thumb. So that's a really great way to do that. The chords, the octaves, really cool. Nice way. And then also, you know, if you're in a situation where you've got the dynamic range to be able to pull this off, playing with your thumb. It's pretty cool. It's a real nice kind of smoky way of playing. And also the thing about that is it makes you play differently. Anything you do with your right hand, it kind of, you know, I can't blaze around like I could with a pick if I'm playing with my thumb. It makes you play a little less, which is not always a bad thing. So especially for that bluesy kind of jazz stuff, you just want to make sure you're laying that stuff right in the pocket. The swing feel is going to come from this right hand, and you really just want to work on that and get that kind of bounce, you know. Oh, sorry. Let's try that again. So. Makes you got to think a little bit different. It's making you play different with that thumb. You can't play a whole lot, you know, but that swing feel, that you want to be able to kind of get that shuffle feel. I mean, that's really steeped in the blues, the shuffle, that kind of feel. I personally love that. So the thumb's a great way to do it. Another thing with the right hand, and if I'm missing anything, let me know and I'll try to cover this, you know, down the road. But the other thing that I do a lot is play with my the hybrid with the playing with my other fingers here. So the pick, and then these 3 fingers. A lot of chords and a lot of country stuff comes from the hybrid style. Also the blues. If I'm playing, you know. Country flavor right there. let me go to this different pickup. Maybe I can get this thing going. So a little bit more of that kind of style, you know, the double stops. Said no charge for mistakes, but that's a kind of an example of that. You know, this kind of stuff. Really getting funky with that right hand and popping and snapping those. Just really cool to start incorporating those fingers in, even if you're chording, you know, E, A. Then I'll slip in with the pick, of course, and do little things like that. But grabbing those chords with the fingers is really cool too. That adds a really cool attack. If I'm doing any kind of funk rhythm stuff where I'm playing just like a E9 chord, anything like that, I'm really, really light with my right hand, and this thing almost doesn't stop. It's like it just kind of. And so when I add the chord to that, I'm kind of letting the left hand determine how much of that chord speaks. So if I'm like, focusing on the groove. So stuff like that. It's almost kind of sloppy, but it's not. It's tight, but it needs to be kind of, you know, it needs to be funky. So this hand still is really relaxed. I'm kind of guiding my right hand with these fingers too, leaning them on the fingerboard. On the pick guard. Now they're not anchored hard. They're kind of floating, but it gives me a little bit of a springboard to where I'm not just flailing wildly with my right hand. I got a little bit of control there, and it's nice to kind of float those fingers right on the pick guard. So, you know, there's a couple things you can do with your right hand. Just a little bit of talking about that. I gotta say it. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for following the channel. Thanks for all the feedback and everything. Check out the links below. I gotta say that on here. The website, the music, the tip jug. Don't forget the tip jug. Venmo, PayPal if you want to donate to the cause here and keep me motivated to do these videos. Of course, don't forget Artist Works and the big giveaway they're doing to fly you out to Napa and hang with us with Nathan East and Keith Wyatt. You'll get to jam with us, one-on-one meet and greets all day and the whole 9 yards, tour the studio, record, everything. Check that out. John Oates dates coming this winter, touring around Florida up the East Coast, and then you know, looking at doing some different clinics and stuff, the South African clinic, all this stuff. I don't want to say too much here, but definitely spread the word if you have guitar player friends, you know, And of course, the private lessons via Skype and locally if you're in the Nashville area. People have been asking me about restaurant recommendations and live music and stuff like that. I'm happy to help with that stuff if you come to town and want to do a lesson and hear some music and all that kind of stuff. I just love being a huge advocate for guitar in Nashville and everything that we're doing. So thanks again, friends. I hope you got something out of that. If you want me to dial this in, of course, we can take a lesson or, take a lesson. Otherwise, looking forward to it. I'm going to try to get back to my schedule and see you guys real soon. Thanks a lot. All right, see ya.